Shana Tova and Happy New Year 5782. We continue our high holiday celebration on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. We are Congregation Beth HaTikva in Summit, New Jersey. Thank you for joining us today. We will be having a group activity if you are on Zoom, and we'll have instructions as to how that will work, and give you the opportunity to speak with other attendees. Otherwise, all audio will be muted. If you're watching on our Zoom or our YouTube link, please sit back and enjoy the service. At this time, we ask everybody in our congregation to turn off their cell phones. If you are at home on Zoom, we ask that you turn on your camera if you are comfortable doing so. At various times during the service, the rabbi will ask you to stand at times when you would have when you were here, if you are able to do so and would like to. We invite you at the end of services to join us virtually for Kiddush and Motzi. And once again, Shana Tova, our services begin now.
Shana Tova, excuse me. I hope your first days of 5782 were good and sweet, and a very warm and happy second day to everyone gathered here at CBH, to our friends joining us on Zoom and YouTube, and to beloved members of the community spending their holidays with distant friends and family. If you're anything like me, you may be sitting here in shul on the second day of Rosh Hashanah and wondering to yourself, why is there a second day of this holiday anyway? If you are, or if you have at some point in your life, I'm here to tell you that that's a reasonable question to ask. Liturgically speaking, although the minhag here is for the days to be different, traditionally, liturgically speaking, today is the same as yesterday, aside from the Torah and Haftarah readings. So aside from an extra helping of Tanakh, which don't get me wrong, is a great thing, why is there a second day of Rosh Hashanah? There are a number of possible explanations offered in our texts. According to the great sage Maimonides, the Rambam, it has to do with the moon. Rosh Hashanah marks the beginning of the year and the beginning of the month of Tishrei, and it also marks a new moon. The Rambam talks in his great work, the Mishnah Torah, about how uncertainty surrounding precisely which day marked the new moon led to our current practice. The new moon in those days was declared based on witness testimony, and since there's a lot of uncertainty in that method, most citizens of Eretz Yisrael observed Rosh Hashanah for 2 days, as he writes. Since they used to keep 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, even when the method of observation was in use, the sages ordained that even the citizens of Eretz Yisrael should keep it for 2 days always, at the present time when the calendar is determined by computation. According to Rambam, the sages themselves realized that there's no real need for a second day of Rosh Hashanah. We don't calculate the calendar based on observing the moon anymore. And yet they ordained that the citizens of the land of Israel, and indeed Jews in perpetuity, would observe Rosh Hashanah for 2 days. I'd like to offer my own suggestion as to why they might have made that decision, or rather an unabashedly modern reading of it that they may not have intended. The second day of Rosh Hashanah ensures that Jews all over the world have the opportunity to celebrate the new year together. Roughly speaking, that is, not in the same place, not at exactly the same time, but on the same Yom HaArichta, the same long day. As we go through today's service, I invite you to think about the other Jews around the world, in the United States and Canada, in Israel, in Latin America, in China and Uganda, and India and Yemen, and other places all over the world, all of them celebrating with us. I invite you also to be mindful of the presence of your ancestors, who said these same words and sang these same melodies at this time of year.
Good morning and Shana Tova. We will start with singing Shana Tova which you'll find in your booklet on page 19.
Please turn to page 270 for the Hamelech prayer. Hamelech Yosef, Al Kiseram v'nisa shochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv ranenu tzadikim Adonai l'sharim navatehila b'fi sharim titromam udivrei tzadikim titbarach uvilshon chasidim titkadash uvekerev kedoshim titala. And we turn to page 15 in our booklets as we return again to return again. We turn to page 278, and if you're able to, we rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. And we turn to page 19 in our booklets as we sing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful world.
What
First,
a wonderful world.
what a wonderful world. First the Bissell of Hebrew, and then in English, and then we end with the 2 words of Hebrew.
Yes. Yes, yeah.
Oh, yes, thanks.
And in Hebrew, it's a achla olam, so it's the same words, but just in Hebrew.
have to say, it's really heartening to see on the TV monitor in front of me so many of you at home singing the song, because it's such a beautiful song. And so it just you should know that we do see you and appreciate you singing along. We turn now to page 280 for little Yotzer Or, thanking God for the light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer Or uvorei choshech oseh shalom uvorei et hakol Or olam beotzar chaim orot me'ofel amar vayehi. And we turn now to page 298 for Or Chadash. This particular rendition has some English in it. but I don't think it's in our booklet, so we have the Hebrew on page 298. Is that right? Yes.
298.
Gotcha.
Yes,
All right.
it's not the English.
That one of the things about being on Zoom is that usually by the second day I get to ad lib a little bit and, you know, something pops into my head. But I just wanted to say that the reason that we sing What a Wonderful World at this point in the service is that the Yotzer Or prayer, and Or Chadash is the end of that, is a prayer praising God for the recreation of the world each day. And that sense of wonder and appreciation that we get to wake up each morning to this beautiful world seems to fit really well with Louis Armstrong's song. And I also noticed, I hadn't really paid attention that much to the Hebrew before, but I noticed that it doesn't actually say I think to myself in the Hebrew. The first time it says I sing to myself, which is lovely, and the second time I dream to myself. So I think that's just a beautiful, different interpretation. And every translation is always an interpretation. So somebody fit the words into the melody in a certain way, but it also gave it a different sense. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Va'erenenu on page 302.
302. V'havienu l'shalom me'arba kanafot haaretz v'tolichenu komiyut le'artzeinu ki el poel yeshuot ata v'keravtanu l'shimcha hagadol Sela be'emet lehodot lecha ulyachedcha be'ahava Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Amen. And we turn the page for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam va'ed v'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshatam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'isharecha.
The words of Avinu Malkeinu are, for many of us, difficult to relate to. The idea of God as Father and King. And so for a number of years we have been including in our services another version of it, Shekhinah Makor Chayenu, Shekhinah being the feminine presence of God. And I think in the last couple of years, so what we have usually done is sing the traditional chorus of Avinu Malkeinu and then read this alternative reading. But in the last couple of years, what we've done is start with the traditional words to Avinu Malkeinu, the chorus, then read the Shekhinah prayer that's on your screens, and then end with another chorus to the same melody, but with Shekhinah Imenu, which is our God, our Mother. So if you would please rise, and we begin. Sorry, what page is
Yeah, it would be in yesterday's outline. But,
Does anyone have the page number for Avinu Malkeinu chorus?
well done.
What is it?
454, I think, is the chorus. 452 is the, 454 is the chorus. And actually, Rabbi, so it's, when we return, I'll say, Shekhinah Imanu. Is it still Chanenu Va'anenu? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so it's
Imenu.
460?
454.
454. We begin with Avinu Malkeinu, then we continue with the reading on your screen, and then go back to Shekhinah Imenu.
Shekhinah Imenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Va'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Va'anenu, Ki ein banu masim, Aseh tzedakah v'chesed, aseh imam tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
Please read with me. Shekhinah, source of our lives, hear our plea. Spare us, have compassion upon us. Motherly presence, source of our lives, keep us in your care, for we are your sons and your daughters. Holy presence, source of our lives, teach us to know our limits. Gentle presence, source of our lives, guide us in pleasant ways. Guiding presence, source of our lives, teach us mercy and justice. Nurturing presence, source of our lives, support those who struggle for peace and justice. Compassionate presence, source of our lives, turn our lamentation to exultation and our sorrow to joy.
Shekhinah imeinu, chonenu v'aneinu. Shekhinah imeinu, chonenu v'aneinu, ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
You may be seated. We continue with our shofar service. The blessings are on page 592, but before we rise for the shofar, we have one more reading from the book Here All Along. And the reading is about the shofar, and it is on page 32 in your booklet.
The sound of a shofar is both primitive and primal, like a cross between sobbing, wailing, and a panicked plea for help. It is a sound you cannot ignore. Maimonides viewed it as a wake-up call, a kind of spiritual alarm clock set to go off in the fall of each year. What exactly are we waking up to? One answer can be found in this line from the Days of Awe liturgy. A great shofar sounds, and a still small voice is heard. This is a verse from the biblical story of the prophet Elijah, who encountered God on a mountaintop. There was a great and mighty wind, splitting mountains and shattering rocks by the power of the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake, fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. God was not in the powerful forces of nature, but in that still small voice. And that's what we're trying to wake up to during this Day of Awe season. That quiet voice of conscience that says, what you did wasn't right. That voice of truth that says, this isn't who you are or who you want to be. I've heard it described as the voice in which our souls speak to us, and some call it the voice of the divine.
Thank you, Archie.
So, see, we rise, please, if you're able, and we're on page 592.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Tekiah, Shvarim Trua, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim Trua, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim Trua, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Trua, Tekiah, Tekiah, Trua, Tekiah, Tekiah, Terua, Tekiah Gedola. We turn to page 664 for Areshet.
You may be seated. We now move into the aforementioned activity that Michael mentioned at the beginning of this service. So you've heard Rabbi mention several times in these last days the notion of teshuvah, return, as a theme for these high holidays. And this theme was chosen imagining a complete return, maybe not exactly to how things were pre-pandemic, but at least approaching normalcy. And instead of a teshuvah shlema, a complete return, we seem to find ourselves in the midst of a teshuvah kavua velo mushlam, an ongoing and imperfect return. This process is exhausting and draining physically, emotionally, spiritually. As we're all in this together, wandering in the desert and unsure of exactly where we're going and precisely when we'll get there, I'd like to invite you to discuss the following questions in small groups, and including the musicians as well. And we'll do breakout rooms for the folks on Zoom. What are your practices of resilience as we experience this imperfect and ongoing return? From where do you draw strength? How do you keep soldiering on in the midst of this? And secondly, what are your sources of joy? How are you making sure to enjoy your life while making sure your life continues. So we're going to break into groups. There are sections in the back of the room
Hello, guys. Do you want me to shove you into one of the breakout rooms? No, you're good? Do you want me to put you into one of the breakout rooms, Nina? Yes? Okay. You're currently muted. Because you can't unmute yourself. Yes. Okay. Let me move you, and hopefully you can unmute yourself.
Like 2 minutes, please.
So we got for other discussions. Her name is Nicole. My daughter-in-law wanted to drive over. And she is also so we're all kind of waiting to see how she does hers. But they adapted from a place in Pennsylvania who gave us the older. So she was with but she was somebody and so she's lots and lots of work. Very there she is.
It's a very nice dog. That's nice. I gave it the 1 minute warning.
Yeah, you enjoy the dog?
Great, folks, we're going to wrap up. If you can return to your seats.
That was the one.
Let's go back there.
I'm amazing.
It can take a few minutes to ask people to, not every single person.
I don't think enforcement will leave early.
Sounds good.
And wait another 10 seconds.
All right.
Oh, I see. Oh, so then maybe, he's got his camera turned around.
And welcome back to our Zoom friends. I hope your breakout rooms were pleasant. So we're going to go around. If anyone would like to share what they talked about, we're going to go around the sanctuary. And then if anyone on Zoom would like to share, please go ahead and type it in the chat. And Michael will read some of the responses as well. Right. So as a reminder, these are things, either sources of resilience or sources of joy as you move forward. So would anyone in the sanctuary like to share what they talked about?
The camera will follow you, pick up. So God wants to hear and everyone else wants to hear. So in our group, resilience and joy were really kind of the same thing. You guys let me know if I misrepresent this, but essentially reconnecting with friends, you know, to a degree that you haven't been able to do before, reconnecting with family, being able to do the things that bring you joy that don't necessarily require you being out and about, or being out and traveling with people who you feel safe with or who you feel comfortable with, and trying to have a good time despite it all. You know, being outside, exercising, riding your bike, enjoying your deck and other things that maybe you didn't do before, people did and found resilience and happiness from that. Anything? Yes. Music and pets. Music and pets. Music and pets were the other big thing. Who got today? You got a new pet? My daughter did. You did? Yeah. All right, 2 new pets. All right, a couple new pets. And certainly we all really enjoyed the music.
You just stay there until
Anyone else interested in sharing? Yeah, Arlene. And I'm seeing we need to just hold the mic a little bit closer when we talk, it looks like. Yeah.
Well, almost everyone said joy and resilience were the same thing. Connecting to family, getting together as much as possible on Zoom or in person, even if it was at a distance. Also enjoying music and art, doing crafts, and cooking. Cooking is a big thing, so that was enjoyable.
I think our group had a similar take on this process that others have talked about. And I guess a fair summary would be that creative distractions were very welcome, and many of us rediscovered how important interaction with other people are. Even having a few words when you go to pick up a prescription is actually a lovely moment of the day.
Lovely, thank you.
Cindy, be our representative.
Being conscripted into sharing here, so.
Too close? No, you're holding it right. Okay. I think, I hope I'm going to represent this correctly. We really felt that that was a significant thing that made things better, made us stronger. And we found, many of us, that during the pandemic, believe it or not, Zoom worked really well to deepen friendships and personal connections. And then I'll throw in mine, my resilience and my joy both kind of came also from my perennial flower garden. So there's that.
Lovely.
Steve, do you want to add yours? Because I thought that was a particularly interesting version of deepening relationships.
Yeah, it was brought on, my daughter Hannah was just saying how her sort of casual roommate relationships at college deepened during the pandemic because they decided to stay in touch through Zoom, and they just found that their friendships were deeper. And I just had a similar experience with my work colleagues, where we make a practice of meeting every day, and we just find ourselves now, you know, as far as we are into it, have over 1.5 years of daily morning meetings that we have what we feel is a really productive, but also, you know, trusting, and I think I'll dare say it, a loving relationship amongst each other.
Lovely.
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting version of resilience because I think, you know, we feel isolated in this time, and it's just good to be reminded that in some way, that some of our relationships actually have deepened because of this. So that's good.
And Michael, are you prepared to share some?
That's for later.
That's for later. Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, so thank you all for sharing. I just want to offer a quick blessing, sort of related to this idea of resilience and joy. So, May it be your will, our God and God of our ancestors, that all of us find the strength and fortitude to keep moving forward, even in dark and heavy times. And may it be your will that we remember that just as important as living is living well. Amen.
All right, is it on me, Rabbi? No? We're working out the kinks. This is only our second year doing this.
Yeah, we're about to start our Torah service.
So we turn to page 464. That's the tune.
Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha v'chol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yiten Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom Avharachamim heitiv v'irtzonecha et Zion Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Ki lecha levad vatachnu melech eram v'nisa Adon olamim.
Please rise.
Vayhi binso Aharon vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oivecha v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha ki mitzion tetzeh Torah ki mitzion tetzeh Torah u'levar Adonai Mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'ikdushato.
Page 468.
And we'll sing Adonai 3 times. Ah, yes. Which is in the middle of the page, and the second paragraph from the bottom in the transliteration.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Elech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed l'Alafim, Notzer Avon v'Fesha, V'Chata v'Nakeh, Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Elech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed l'Alafim, Notzer Avon v'Fesha, V'Chata v'Nakeh, Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Elech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed l'Alafim, Notzer Avon v'Fesha, V'Chata v'Nakeh, V'ani tefilati, tefillah Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov chazdecha aneni be'emet ishecha.
All righty. So the Torah service. Yeah. Oh, Andy, what are we still doing a little Moshe Kibel? Oh, okay. I don't know, Andy, are we are we doing a procession? Yes. Are we okay with that, folks?
Gary, would you like to carry the Torah?
Ah, because it rhymes? Sorry. Gary and Carrie, you see. All right, I guess everyone got that.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, be careful, man. Yeah, all right. All right, thank you. So I'll everybody repeat after me as I say the Shema and I say the Echad. I'll say it and you repeat it. And okay, we'll face this way. Shema Yisrael. Which is our camera, by the way?
It's on everything. It's on everyone right now.
Oh, okay. Ah, great. Shema. Which one is two? Got it. Brilliant. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh v'Norah Shemo. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh v'Norah Shemo. Gadlu Adonai iti unerom mema Shemo yachdav.
You may be seated. Ta'amod Tzipora bat Avraham v'Sara. Hello?
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirvanu lavodato v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
I'm going to share my screen in just a moment, but before I do, a quick intro. Last year, our theme, CBH's theme, was Hineni, and Hineni appears 3 times in this reading. I'll be doing all 3 Torah readings, and then Cindy will do the blessing after. Hineni appears for the first time in the Torah in the very first reading, when Abraham replies to God when God is about to ask him to sacrifice his son. In the second reading, Hineni appears again when Isaac asks his dad, and he says Hineni, and then Isaac asks him, where's the lamb? And in the third time, in the third reading, Hineni appears again when the angel of God yells at Abraham. He has to yell his name twice to stop him from slaughtering his son, and Abraham says Hineni. This year, though, our theme is Teshuvah, which will appear in the Torah portion once in a pretty key moment. But I'm also going to focus this year on the word kach, which has some interesting context also. I'll start my screen share. I think I need to go enter full screen, and then screen share, and then I pick PowerPoint, and then I say share, and then there everyone is. Yay. And then here we go. All right. So this is where we start. Is everything okay? I'll wait for a minute. Oh, so the Zoom stopped going out?
I still see people.
Yeah. Can you guys see us? A little thumbs up across the board. We can still hear you and see you. Torah page. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Okay. All right. Go. I'm off. Amen. Vayehi achar hadarim ha'ele v'haElohim nisa et Avraham vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer kach. Here's kach. Take, please. God says kach na. And I think it's interesting that the trope that's chosen focuses on the na. God says, take, please. He doesn't command Abraham. He's asking Abraham, and he's asking him politely to kill his son. Kach na et bincha yechidcha asher ahavta et Yitzchak v'lech lecha el eretz hamoriyah v'halehu sham leolah al achad heharim asher omar elecha. Vayishkem Avraham baboker vayachavosh et chamoro vayikach. Again, he takes. Now, Abraham doesn't answer God in the Torah in words. He does just the next morning pack up his donkey and take his 2 servants and his son. Vayikach et shnei na'arav ito ve'et Yitzchak beno vayavaka atzei olah vayakam vayelech el hamakom asher amar lo Elohim. The 8's here. He's splitting the wood himself. He's not asking his servants to split the wood for the sacrifice.'s not asking his son to split the wood. He's splitting the wood himself. Bayom hashlishi. So 3 days of traveling. Vayisa Avraham et einav vayaret hamakom merachok. Abraham lifts up his eyes and sees the place where he is to do what God has asked him to do. Vayomer Avraham el narav shvu lachem po im hachamor v'ani v'hanar ne'achad ko v'nishtachaveh v'nashuva aleichem. Abraham tells his two servants he's going to go up, worship with the youth, that's what he's calling his son, and we shall return to you. V'nashuva aleichem, we're talking about returning this year. Abraham must be thinking about how he is going to return alone to his servants, how he is going to return to his wife. What is he going to say to them? That's a very different sort of return. Vaikach Abraham, again, Abraham, now he's taking the wood. Et atzei haolah vayasem al Yitzchak beno, and he asks Isaac to carry the wood that he's going to slaughter him on later on. Vaikach, again, he takes. Biyado, in his hand, et ha'esh vet hamachel, et the fire and the knife. And off they go. Vayechu shnehem yachdav. Vayomer Yitzchak, Yitzchak says, El Abraham avi, vayomer avi, vayomer hineni v'ni, vayomer hine, here, ha'esh is the fire, v'ha'aitzim and the wood, v'ayeh, but where, says the lamb, leolah, to sacrifice. Well, what does Abraham say? Vayomer Abraham, Elohim yiraelo haseh. God will seek for himself the lamb. Leolah, to sacrifice. Bani, my son. And off they go. Vayechu shnehem yachdav. Now we're 2 portions in. We've got 1 left. And I should just be able to click a thing, and off it should change. There it is. Yachdav. And so, 3rd, here's the climax on the mountaintop. Vayavo el hamakom asher amar lo Elohim vayiven sham Avraham et hamizbeach vayaroch et ha'etzim vayakod. This is called akedah because he binds his son. Vayakod, and he binds vayakod et Yitzchak beno vayasem oto al hamizbeach mimal ha'etzim. He's bound his son and put him on the wood. Vayishlach Avraham et yado. This is an interesting phrase. Abraham sends forth his hand. Vayikach, again kach. He sends forth his hand and takes et hamachel, et the knife, lishchot, to slaughter. Et beno, I say slaughter because the shochet is a kosher slaughter. It says lishchot. He's going to slaughter, a sacrificial slaughter. He'll slice his throat. He won't. It'll be like that. Sorry, folks. There we go. Because I blacked it out right before the angel comes. Vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim. What does the angel say? Vayomer Avraham, Avraham. Maybe we could all say it together. Vayomer Avraham, Avraham. I think we stopped him. Vayomer hineni. Vayomer, says the angel, Al tishlach yadchal el hanar v'atas lo meuma ki ata yadati kirei Elohim ata v'lo chasachta et bincha et chircha mimeni vayisa Avraham et einav vayar. Here again, just earlier we had this exact same phrase. It was at that time, Vayisa Avraham et einav vayar, lifts Abraham his eyes and sees. At that point, it was the mountain upon which he would slaughter his son. And it's interesting that we have the song Esa Einai El Harim. We lift our eyes to the hills. From where does our help come? Abraham's lifting his eyes to the hills in a very different context, but I think there's some reason for that connection. Here, Abraham lifts his eyes and he sees a ram. Vahine, behold a ram. Here we go again. Vayisa, he lifts, so the trope lifts. Vayisa Abraham et einav vayar vahine ayil achar nechaz basvach bekarnav vayelech Abraham vayikach. He takes et ha'ayil, the ram. Vaya alehu leolah, to sacrifice tachat beno, instead of his son. Vayikra Abraham shem hamakom hahu Adonai yireh. This idea of seeing, that's for another year. Asher yamer hayom behar Adonai yireh.
Beautiful.
Maybe we'll just use this mic here. Don't do that. Good.
Baruch Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, b'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Is that the first time you've done it?
In over 20 years, yes.
Let's do a little Shehecheyanu.
Yeah.
This is the first time Cindy's done an Aliyah for 20 years. Little Shehecheyanu, Andy?
Sure.
Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. And that 20 years ago was after she first converted to Judaism. This was her first time doing it here at CBH.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was beautifully done, Cindy. And have to say, Steve, that it makes me see different things. The way, as you describing it, like I never really paid that much attention to, he send forth his hand to grab the knife, and then when the angel speaks, he says, don't send forth your hand.
Right.
Which is just an interesting way to think about just, what mental process does it take, to send forth your hand to grab the knife? It's not automatic. So anyway, that was lovely. Thank you. And for, don't think my mic is on. There we go. So for Hagba and Glila, our honors are given to Michael Hyman and Peggy Dugan, who are our high holiday coordinators. What do you call yourselves? Impresarios or magicians? Arlene says magicians. Anyway, I'm sorry there aren't more people here to honor you, but thank you so much for everything that you do. So, Ya'amod Meir Asher ben Yaakov Yehudi Tagba Ta'amod Bela Bat Hana v'Yosef Galila. Please rise. Please be seated. Except for those who had a Torah honor, please remain standing or stand again. So Gary, that's you too. I think, and Steve, that would include you. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah hu yivarech kol ele sha'alu hayom lichvod hamakom lichvod haTorah v'lichvod yom hadin. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all of these who have come up today in honor of God, in honor of the Torah, and in honor of this day of awe. May your connection to our traditions and the wisdom of Torah enrich your lives, and may the light of our community sustain you. And we say together,
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Andy, you're up.
You want to give the page numbers for that?
Okay. The blessing for before the Haftarah is on page 552, and then the actual Haftarah reading from Jeremiah is on page 566, and the blessing after begins on page 576.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzav v'divrechem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah v'Moshe avdo u'v'nviei ha'emet b'tzedek. Simu devar Adonai goyim v'hagidu v'ayim mimerchak v'imru Mizarei Yisrael Yekar b'tzenu u'shmero keroeh edro Kipada Adonai et Yaakov uge'alo miyad hazak mimenu uva'u v'rinenu v'imrom tzion v'neharu el tuv Adonai al dagan v'al tirosh v'al yitzchar v'al ben etzon uvakar v'hayata nafsham kigan raveh v'lo yosifu l'da'ava od az tismach betula b'machol v'chorim uzkenim yachdav v'hafakti evlam l'sason v'nichamtim v'simachtim migonam v'ribeti nefesh hakohanim dashen v'ami et tuvi yisba'u ne'um Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol amim tzadik b'kol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer b'yoseh ha'medaber u'makayem shekol devarav emet b'tzedek al ha'torah v'al ha'avodah v'al ha'nevi'im v'al yom hazikaron hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'chavod u'l'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mavarchim otach yitbarach simcha b'fi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed u'devarcha emet v'kayam la'ad baruch atah Adonai melech hakol ha'aretz mekadesh Yisrael v'yom hazikaron.
Amen. So this reading from Jeremiah, you can take that away. You can take away we can see the people. This reading from Jeremiah includes the words, I shall turn your mourning into dancing, which we have a song about that, but it seemed particularly relevant this year when we have been through so much, to be looking towards that time when our mourning will be turned into dancing. And we're going to ask Michael to read some of the things that people put into chat about your sources of resilience and joy, which again, relates to this idea that how do we do that? How do we turn our mourning into dancing?
Sources of joy were pets, grandchildren, children, and doing new things. Togetherness is a source of joy and resilience. Joy, learning a new language, being in a book club, grandchildren, friends and family, cats, and binging on TV shows and old musicals. Sources of joy, the ability to relax, take a break from people for some things, do meetings on Zoom, the gift of time, finding flexibility to do things you love in a way that is safe. Our Zoom services, source of joy, finding CBH. In addition to family time, I've been able to spend time with my cat when in work meetings. It's not healthy. It's been great to have her on my lap all day from meeting to meeting.
Thank you. And now our song, Mourning into Dancing, which is on page 21 in your booklet.
You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sings to you, and it not be still. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sings to you, and it not be still. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Deca. Now I sing praises to the Holy One, who lifts me up when I have fallen. And I cry to you to hear me. You have answered all my prayers. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Deca. I ask you to be gracious and hear me, Adonai. I call you to help me. You supported me with joy.
Beautiful, thank you. We turn to page 598. And please rise.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו, הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו, hallelujah, hallelujah.
And we turn to page 606. And we start on the third line. Etz chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tom cheha מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך בנשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו
You may be seated. We are on page 672, the Sefer Chaim. It's the second paragraph in Hebrew and in transliteration. Atah Adonai, Oseh Hashalom. Blessed are you, compassionate one, maker of peace. I just want to say, sources of joy, that it has been a tremendous joy to have the singers sharing their music with us during these high holidays. And I know that everyone else is feeling the uplift from that as well. Arlene.
Shana Tova again. Some announcements. This coming Friday, September 10th, Poetry Shabbat, and it'll be at 7:30 and it's virtual. Look in BetNet for the link. There'll be regular Torah studies Saturday morning at 9, September 11th, and that the link is also in BetNet. On September 12th, that's Sunday, religious school families, there's a big meetup at Maybe Memorial Park in Summit, and that's at 10 a.m. in person, outdoors. And of course, next week is Yom Kippur. Kol Nidre is Wednesday, September 15th at 7:30. And all the services are hybrid, in person and on Zoom, with streaming also available. Yom Kippur Day is Thursday, September 16th. The day will start at 10 a.m. Remember to bring your blue wristband. If you're checked in already, you won't have to bother. And come at least a little bit earlier so you have time to be seated, and come through the back door. Thank you.
If you're at home and you have a challah and some juice or wine, please feel free to join us in reciting Kiddush and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Elohei.
Take two.
Take two. Wow. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei
Bari
hagafen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
I think I need this.
There's a lot in there.
There is a lot. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen.
Just want to wish everyone Shana Tova once again, and I hope that this week between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is a meaningful time of reflection, teshuvah, and forgiveness for others and for ourselves. And we conclude our service today with Hashivenu, a beautiful version that we learned, I think, at the Reconstructionist Convention 3 years ago.